Hey, hi! Welcome and welcome back to She Shines and Thrives, a channel where I'm chronicling my move from a 9-to-5 to living my best life on my own terms, doing the things that I want to do. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. It would really help me out. And don't forget to hit that notification button so that when new videos come out, you will be notified. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. That's it, that's all. So in today's video, I wanted to do a dedicated foundation base routine video. Without further ado, let's get to it. Okay, so a dedicated foundation video. Let's see how this goes. I have my mirror set up over here, so if you see me looking over here, it's just because I have my mirror, because you know I don't want to be looking crazy on my first foundation video. And I have all of my makeup and everything down here. I will list everything that I'm using down in the description box if you are interested. And I would love to hear your comments and what you guys use, especially for like the under eye powder. Like I'm struggling with that. So let's see, maybe you guys have a suggestion that would work for me. All right, so first things first is my face is washed. I have my moisturizer on. It is the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. I love it. I love that face base. The scent is very nice and citrusy, like orange. It's very, very light. It's not very heavy. Once you put it on, the scent dissipates very quickly. And it really does work for me. I have dry skin, sometimes combination skin, but a lot of times my skin is dry and it needs the moisture, so that face base works really well for me. And so, yep, starting with the bare face, that's what I have on. And I'm planning on going out and walking, getting my 10,000 steps in. Well, hopefully more than that by the time I'm finished with today. But I'm going to be walking and getting my 10,000 steps in, and I walk at a local park around the corner from my house. So I am going to be using a Milani SPF BFF SPF 30 primer, just so that I always wear SPF on my face anyway. So this is just, this is my usual. And I love Milani primers, especially this SPF BFF. Like this primer is totally my BFF because it's just a good habit to get into, to put sunblock on your face, even if you're running a real quick errand nowadays. With the sun being as bright as it is, and as harsh as it's getting with global warming, you gotta keep that face nice and pretty without wrinkles as much as possible. So now that that base is on, what I usually like to do next is I start with my concealer, and today I'm going to be using the Mented Full-Time Brightening Concealer, and my color, what color is this? I was looking for a number and it's actually, okay, so I have two Mented concealers that I'm going to be using. One is just a little bit lighter than the other, so I'm using CEO, which is more towards my skin color. And then I am using Peak Performance. So CEO and Peak Performance. All right, so usually what I like to do is I like to start off with my actual color, the color that's a little bit closer to my skin tone. And I start off pretty thin just because I have lines underneath my eyes, and if I don't, if I put something on there that's a little too thick, it'll just start to crease. And so that's been something that I've been working with. So I'm using my little sponge here. It's damp. I've already dampened it. So, and I learned a trick from Wayne Goss. I love Wayne Goss. He's like, love it, love it, love it. He breaks it down, and very easy to understand, very easy to duplicate and to try on yourself. At least for me, I don't work on clients with makeup, so I just do my own. So he told me, or from one of his videos, if I remember to link it, I'll put it down in the description box. Okay, so yeah, so on Wayne Goss's concealer video, he was basically saying what you want to do is, if you want that sort of nice, sort of flat, fresh look, is that you want to really just kind of conceal within the dips where there's the shadows, because it's the shadows that create the bumps or the texture or the whatever under your eyes. And that if you can just get that part covered, it'll look more youthful and more young, and he explains it so much better than me. So what I'm actually going to do is take a little bit of concealer and put it in my creases, the ones that I know, the ones that I usually do, just to flatten that area out. So it's like, get rid of those bags, baby. No bags, baby. So, okay, and then you just lightly tap that out. So you probably, I should have done a before and after, but so you can kind of see how this one is flat, because I've taken care to get rid of or conceal those crevices. So now that that is done, let me just do a little bit more. I like to do as little as possible. Now that that is done, looks very nice. I don't necessarily powder just yet because I don't want it to mess with what else I have going on. The next thing that I'm doing is I'm putting on my Skin by Mented foundation stick. I am in the color L40, and I love this stick because you could just put on as much or as little. I usually don't put on that much just because I'm not trying to do a full face and walk 10,000 steps. Okay, so yep, I just blends right in. So nice, so pretty, and so nice. So I'm just blending that up. Blending that out. Oh man, how long have you guys been watching YouTube makeup videos? I know, I've been watching videos for a very long time, and it's really interesting that I just am now starting to venture into creating my own channel. Because I'm always on YouTube, so it was like, well, why not? At least, you know, get out there and see what you can do. So that is my base. It's very, very, very light. This is like the way that I like to do my foundation, depending on where I'm going. If I'm just out and about, running around, or just like daily things, I tend to like it very light and very natural. So I don't do a full beat all the time. Maybe my eyes are like the full beat. That's as much full beat as I'm gonna get most days. But so I like it really natural. And so now I'm gonna go in with Peak Performance, the Mented concealer, the, what is it, Full-Time Brightening Concealer, Mented by Mented. And I'm going to take just a little bit, because I don't want to, just a little bit. And let's do that. And I do use the same sponge just because the colors don't really aren't really that much of a difference in the color that I use from just like close to my skin color versus the lightening. So just to lighten it up a little bit. Okay, so now once that is all set, and I blend out my concealer all the way up to and including my lash line. It just looks more, to me, it looks more natural, more seamless, so that there's not just like a line where you can tell that there's like no concealer just because under my eyes are dark. So if I don't go all the way up to the waterline or the eyelid right there, the line, it will show, and it just looks a little odd to me, so I don't like that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to powder underneath my eye. Actually, I'm going to take a brush. This is the deluxe crease brush that I use for my under eye, and it's from Real Techniques. And I just kind of like to push out, pounce out any additional concealer that's already forming in my crease lines, because I hate when my concealer creases. And I'm going to use the Laura Mercier. I have a big one, and I have a mini translucent medium deep loose setting powder. I'm using medium deep, and I use that because it looks a little more natural than the translucent powder. When I use the translucent powder, it even though it says it's translucent, it makes it look a little ashy. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and I haven't really been paying attention to, is that because of the concealer that I'm using and layering that on top of? I'm not sure, but sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So I'm sticking to one that's a little bit closer to my color, which I guess if you're really into like highlighting your under eye area or anything like that, then this probably won't work for you, because you want that area to be a little bit lighter. But that's the area that I struggle with, because if I do something lighter, then you can tell that my skin is darker underneath there, and it just looks like, why did I even use concealer? So okay, so I am done with that. So now what I am going to do is use my Sephora Micro Smooth Powder in Deep number 56. I'm using my Real Techniques 201. It's a powder brush. And I just set what I've done, pretty much. Just set it, what I've done. You know who turned me on to the Sephora Micro Smooth Powder? Alyssa Ashley. That girl and her smooth foundation base. I was like, girl, thank you for putting me on, because this is amazing, and this product is amazing, and you don't need a lot of it. All you need is just a little bit. So now what I'm gonna go in and do is use my Sephora Micro Smooth Deep 60 powder as my bronzer. So I tend to just use my, what is this? Sephora 73, brush 73, just to kind of place the bronzer where I want it, get it kind of in the hairline so I don't be looking crazy. And then once I get that where I want it, I tend to buff it out with, this is a brush, this is the Black Widow brush from Ulta when they had that special, you know how they be coming out, makeup brands and companies be coming out with their collabs with either movies or whatever. So anyways, this was the Black Widow collaboration. I loved this brush, like the size, and I was like, oh yeah, let me do some of that. So now just get under the chin, go down the neck a little bit, just to make sure everything's kind of blended in. Okay, and that is that. Now, that is really all that I do for my foundation base. I am going to do my eyebrows and put on some blush, and I'll be back to finish us up. Hey, so I'm back. I put on my blush, I put on my brows, and this is the completed look. The foundation base routine, for me, it's pretty light. Something that I feel is my skin breathes through a little bit, you know. So until next time, keep shining and thriving. Bye.